Hey guys, so Art Decline here, Average Picker. So I've got a bit of a secret viewer, friend Sami, and she got me into a number of locks fairly recently. And it turns out that Sami likes to watch these videos because she finds them pretty boring, and she falls asleep to them. But she's been complaining my last few videos were too short, and they needed to be a little bit longer so she could fall asleep. So what I thought we'd do today is we'd just do a longer video. We'd pick through some locks, talk about different locks, and like the belt ranking system and stuff, I guess. And hopefully that will be boring enough to put Sami to sleep. We're not going to be gutting any locks today, mostly because for the most part, what we're going to be picking is going to be all standard pinned locks, and you guys have seen standard pins. There's going to be a few exceptions in there, but it's nothing to write home about or to have to show off or anything like that. So, but first, I need to see what I have to do for this 27 cents here from our sponsor. Let's see what I've got here. When I am hungry, I eat Mama noodles. Mama noodles are the only noodles that can satisfy my need for insert flavor name for shrimp flavor tom yum. Mama noodles are full of energy and delicious shrimp flavor tom yum to keep me picking locks. Eat Mama noodles. You can find them wherever delicious Mama noodles are sold. Turned into a whore. Okay, so the first thing I just want to say is I'm not looking to deflate or try to diminish anyone's accomplishments or sense of accomplishments. I love the lockpicking community. It's kind of a little haven for me, and I really only care about a couple things. And one is, are you interested in locks and lockpicking? And the second is if you're an asshole. In which case, if you are, you can fuck right off. But anything around locks and lockpicking, I don't care on what level someone's picking, I get pretty excited about it. It's really neat stuff, and it's cool to see new people coming in and everything. Reddit, on their lockpicking site, has a belt ranking system, which is a really neat, comprehensive list, and it was really great when I was coming up and started to peek my head out to see what the community was like, to see this list, because I didn't know where I was in terms of lockpicking. And so to be able to see this list that's kind of categorized into difficulties and everything was really, really neat and very helpful. I've not ranked yet. At some point I'm probably going to rank in soon. I'm getting my ducks in a row, I guess, to come in around blue belt level. I'm probably going to be doing this Schlage Everest soon, and I've got a challenge lock that pretty much just needs to be assembled at this point, and I'll be doing a video on that shortly. I don't know where I'm going to go after this, in part because I don't really have I've got the American and the Everest, and I don't really have a lock. Those both are blue. I don't really have anything that I know of that ranks higher than that. So I'm going to have to do some poking around and searching. I have a few locks that I think actually are more difficult than this, but I don't know what they are exactly. And so I don't know, where to find them on the list or anything like that, or if they would even count for trying to use them. The list, I think, though, is sometimes taken a little too seriously. I just see it as sort of this fun thing. There's absolutely, though, no denying that the far end of it is tipped for sure. I mean, you see somebody that's like red or black belt ranked, and they're really serious into the sport, and they're serious in the community, and probably very active. And so that's really cool. I mean, so it kind of applies there. The reason, though, I haven't gone ahead and gone for it, looking at blue, is I feel too inconsistent. I mean, I can sit here and shoot a video and I can get this thing picked and gutted, but me personally, I don't know if I see that as, oh, I'm blue belt, I can pick all these locks on here. And so I've been kind of waiting until I feel really consistent on that list and in and around that area to say, okay, this is where I am in picking this is where I feel really comfortable, and I'll go ahead and accept making some kind of declaration that, oh, here's X amount of good or something like that. And so until then, yeah, I've just been kind of holding off and just enjoying getting to know everybody and chit-chatting on there. And it's a really great community. If for some reason you're watching this video and you don't know about the lockpicking and lock sport community over on Reddit, you should definitely go check it out. It is very cool. So one of the issues, though, that I think comes about with it is it creates kind of a concentration on certain locks for some people. I mean, obviously you're going to get some people, they will pick whatever they can find. But I think especially when you're new and you come into it and you find that list, you get very focused on that list. And it's hard to see past it. And there's a lot of reasons to kind of ignore the list, okay? And I think you can start to get kind of a false sense of security from some of it. So this is Kwikset, really standard Kwikset. It's not the Smart Key Kwikset or anything like this. This is just your absolute run-of-the-mill, cheap as dirt Kwikset. Okay, so we know for a fact that this Kwikset has two, quote-unquote security pins in it. It's got two spools. They're on 2 and they're on 4, right? I mean, we know that is the case. Okay. So I've just now picked a lock with security pins. And honestly, the spools in here are probably just so Kwikset can make some claim that it's, oh, we're bump proof, we have security pins. And we know it's not. You can go out, you can find lots of people bumping and raking and opening this lock in all sorts of manner. But where does that leave me? Does that leave me thinking, oh, great, I can pick security pins now? Okay. And there's a big climb from that to, say, the American, which is just the most screwed up lock, man. This thing drives me nuts. I mean, I know people say they're a fun pick. I find them frustrating at tension. But, yeah, no, it's almost like half the rules don't apply to that. But, yeah, so, well, there we go. I've now picked something with security pins in it. This open, let me see. So here we've got, this is just really common household Schlage. Don't know exactly what's in this one. I can tell you it's probably got a few spools. Some of these are all standard that I have. Some of these have some wafers in them. But there has been anywhere from 2 to 5 spools that have turned up in these. Right? Okay, and you can see this one is putting up a little more of a fight here. Trying to pick it. Okay, we're in, right? Similar setup, another just common deadbolt house Schlage. Again, I don't know exactly what's in this one, but if it's like the other ones, it's probably got, oh, and we're in. It's probably got a spool or 2 in it. Some of these have had wafers and stuff as well. I didn't take all of them apart that I had. But there we go. I mean, we now picked through 3 locks, 1 that we know has security pins, and 2 that we're fairly certain do. So where does that put us? I mean, so if we go and we pull out some of these locks that I got from Sami, let's see what we've got here. So this is a no name. I don't really know. It looks like it's pretty much sporting a Schlage keyway. Kind of cutaway. There's no real markings on it that tell us what it is. It seems like, I don't know, maybe somebody knows a lot about this stuff. I mean, it seems like Schlage just kind of licenses out their keyways or supplies them to other companies, and then they can go through and they just make their lock whatever. So let's see about picking this one. Okay, and we're in. Now, I know that seems very quick, but the thing, this lock actually has better tolerances than this one, right? But, oh, no security pins. But that doesn't necessarily make a lock any tougher. In fact, there's something to be said, actually, just for good tolerances and all standards. Tell you what, I'm going to line up a couple locks. So I'm going to do a little cut. We'll line up a few things, and then we will come back and start to delve into this a little bit deeper. Okay, so we've got the two locks we just picked. So our little Common Schlage house lock, you can tension this light to heavy moderate and still get through it pretty easily. There's a lot of pronounced feedback. There's a lot of play and stuff on the core as well. And this one, even though we picked it fairly quickly, actually has a little bit higher tolerances. So, you know, you've got a little less play there. It's all standard pins. But you do have to tension this one a little more on the lighter side than what you can get away with something like this. So if we take another look, we take a look at another lock anyway that we got from Sami. So this one was interesting, I guess, when it showed up. Not interesting, but it had this big ass key with it that's marked K2. Okay. And the other side of it says something about SKD2. Again, I don't know what this lock is exactly. It's just kind of a mystery lock. It's labeled .150, made in the USA, .150. It's reminiscent of this Ilko that I have, but I don't believe it's an Ilko. No real idea about it, but let's take a look at it and see what we get if we go to pick it. Okay, so I'm having to use a lighter tension than what I did on the other one. These are those dead zones where Sami likes me to talk a little more. So I should be rambling about something here, but I am actually kind of paying attention to the lock. Banging into that warding a little bit. That should be it right there. Okay. So we're in. So again, mystery lock. I mean, if I had to line these up and say which one was hardest to easiest, a little bit harder, makes you think about your tensioning more, and not a difficult lock, all standard pins, but the tolerances on this are getting increasingly better. So we'll pull out another one from our pile. So this is another one from the Sami collection, okay? And you can see we're real close to this lock here. I mean, it's the same, the body's got the same cuts on it and everything. It's the same, it's unmarked. I mean, the only difference really is the cover of that outer plate. This one also, the keyway is pretty much the same keyway. However, this one is a fair bit more worn in on this little ledge here, okay, than this one is. So this one actually, it's just enough, it's pretty comfortable resting the pick and picking from that ledge. This one, I guess, just got more use. Maybe this was a front door lock or something. But that little bit is worn away enough that it's not that comfortable picking from it. But let's see what we get with it. I do actually like picking from a ledge. I know technically, oh, I'm supposed to come in here and pick up. I don't know. I don't mind picking at an angle with a little ledge to rest the pick on. So I'm using much lighter tension than I did on its lookalike. And in fact, I might switch picks here in a second, because I do happen to also know I can get the Praxis DeForest hook down here. You can probably actually see where that DeForest has been rubbing slowly on the coloring. Yeah, let's switch over. If it starts taking us too much time, we won't actually, I'll cut the video or something. Because all I'm trying to do here is just to prove a little bit of a point. I guess one being that, yeah, I'm a very average picker. But the second being that you just don't know with some of these locks quite what you're going to run into, and it's, you know, if all you're doing is paying attention to the list, you're going to be missing out a little bit. Okay, it should be just about to turn over. Really feeling these pins out here. I think it's just one that's got it hanging on at the moment. Yeah, there you are. Maybe? Oh, I think I dropped something. Again, realistic expectations. I don't mind throwing my failures out here. Okay. I don't know if these came from the same place. I mean, like building wise or not. I have no idea. Yeah, let's reset it. Get back in there. Switch over to my Tron, which I'm a little bit more experience with. Well, I'll call it there. See, there we go, though. So, right? Pretty much identical. This one is much more sensitive though. And you can see it took significantly longer to even try to get into. So we'll move on to this one. This one I do actually think is an Ilko. But again, we're sporting a very similar keyway to the ones we just had in there. This one, again, it's not marked. It's got that same, just made in the USA, .150, but that runs along the underside of the lock here instead of on the top like the other ones did. Let's see what we get. This is also from the Sami collection. And I'm using much less tension. There's just not much feedback. These are all standard pins. There's no weirdness going on in these. It's just that each one is built a little bit better. It's gonna suck to have 2 failures in a row on here, right? But again, realistic expectations, guys. I know we like to say too that the locks get a little camera shy. I think it's just the pressure of trying to pick on camera, knowing that, oh, I'm gonna be posting this. But again, I mean, you can't worry about what it's going to make you look like if you get it picked or not. And sometimes you're just having a bad pick day. And in my case, you're just seeing kind of what a quick little session is going to look like. Okay. I'm not going to bore you by continuously just trying to get through this though. We're going to give it one more little attempt here, because I already actually know what's going on. It's a really heavy spring on that one. Let's tighten down the tension a little bit. Okay. So I said I thought this one was an Ilko, and I'm really not sure. This one I know is an Ilko. Okay, this one's rocking a Schlage key that I actually happen to have for it, which, you know. But I can tell you just from experience, this one, which we were just picking on, I can get into. I can sit down and I can pick through it. This Ilko, though, actually has a little bit higher tolerances, or better toleranced, than this one is. And this Ilko can give me quite a bit of a challenge some days. But again, you can see, you know, if we mixed them up, they look pretty identical. Right. So this is... Okay, and then we've got this one from the Sami collection. Okay, it's real reminiscent of this guy. Maybe they came off the same building. I don't know. Maybe that's just a popular color out there where she is. But we've got different style bodies. Again, you're not going to find these on any list, right? Or on the list over there on Lockpicking subreddit. And we're still in the Schlage family, right? But I think you can see that what we've done is we've basically progressed up without security pins, and the locks have gotten significantly more difficult. Even that Ilko, which I pointed out earlier that I have the key for, I mean, that's running a Schlage. That's running a Schlage key, and it's more difficult than these. And I'm not saying these are hard locks. They're just, some of it's me picking on cam right now. So I have gotten through all these multiple times before I set out to do this video, but that's how it goes. No, I just overset pin 5. There's this tendency when you're picking, I think, even though you know to use light tension, as you get a little more frustrated, you start to crank down harder and harder and harder, right? Okay. So again, we've got these guys, right, that we were picking on. Schlage keyways, no security pins, all standards. Putting up a way more challenge than this guy, which we know has, or we're pretty sure has some spools in it, and far harder than this one, which everyone out there is probably watching this video has picked one of these, and we know there's 2 spools in this, supposed security pins. So the point of all this is, if you're starting out, don't focus too much on the list, okay? I mean, the list is awesome. I do love it. However, realize that there is a lot of locks out there in between, and just because you can pick something that has security pins in it does not mean that then moving to something like this, or one of these, or that Ilko, is going to be less challenging, all right? But just because it's all standard pins. I mean, there's really something to be said for high tolerances. So this is a straight Schlage. It's made by Schlage. It's Schlage keyway. Got Schlage. You can see very similar body and everything to what we've been picking on. This one's actually a 6-pin. There are no spools or anything in it. There's no security pins. And we'll just pick on it for a minute and see what we get. I know, too, somehow people seem to be a little freaked out by this Schlage keyway, probably because it's been mentioned by a popular YouTuber. It's not that hard of a keyway, guys. Don't get too hung up on it. You just rest your pick on that little ledge and you just pick up at a slight angle and you'll hit the pins, no problem. I mean, I'm not even using a very deep hook or anything. I think somebody's about to come to the door. There we go. Okay, so that's a 6-pin Schlage. We know this one is made by Schlage. It has, and everything like that. Where these, they're Schlage-ish. I mean, we know the keyways, kind of a Schlage keyway, but I don't know actually who distributes it or makes it or what for. And we're through that 6-pin Schlage. But again, this is a much tougher lock. Even if we take out one of the pins, if we run it as a 5-pin instead of a 6, it's a much tougher lock than this guy, which probably has a couple spools in it. So I'm sort of hoping Sami is nice and asleep at this point, and maybe you've gotten something out of this, maybe you haven't. Hopefully it's been mildly entertaining. But the wrap up on it is, the list is awesome over there on Reddit. It's really useful and handy to see what to step up into potentially, but don't put too much weight into it. You know, I mean, there is a lot to be said for just a good tolerance lock that's running all standards. And you really, it's something you need to learn, you know. And again, I'm not trying to knock anyone's accomplishments or anything like that, you know. I mean, if you want to just, you know, get an American 1100 and pick on it until you pop it, you know, and claim it, that's fine. I don't really care. You know, I know for me, I want to be in a certain comfort level with it and be able to say, okay, if this stuff gets thrown at me, we'll see where I'm at. And yeah, hopefully soon I will be doing a video of the Everest getting picked, or maybe I'll do the American, I don't know. And we'll get in there, and then who knows where I'll go from there, because at that point I've got to start trying to find locks, and the price and stuff starts going up significantly more. And not just the price, like, you know, you can, hey, that fit. I wonder. Nope. You know, the price starts going up significantly, and the chance of finding them used somewhere gets harder and harder and harder to do. So, anyway, guys, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night, Sammy. Thanks for the locks.